Hey Connie, let's take a quick look at your Week 2 Assignment 3 drawing here. This is a very good drawing. It's a very complete drawing. Each element has its own kind of application of a separate color. You're dealing with a background, I think, to a much greater degree than most people, and things like value and the cast shadows just have a nice kind of development to them. The drawing feels very kind of well-rounded overall. Color-wise, it's a great job. I love the fact that each of the objects has, a different amount of color in place. Even textures that are the same, the metal and the woods, are different from each other. So you're not just using the same marker over and over again, or worse, kind of just sticking with the gray and not making any kind of additional color applications to them. They all help to make the textures more clear. I think the cylinders may be the only one of the all five that feel like the color application is starting to move a little bit away from the realistic portrayal of the texture, or one that you would kind of expect to see, but it's applied in such a way that I think it really works out well still. I love the texture on the blue metallic cone, though. I thought that worked out to a great degree. The other two, the wood ones, I think are very good with their coloring. You could use a little bit more variation, though. I think getting a little bit more oranges or yellows into the lighter wood and getting a few more browns into the cherry colored one could help to get a little bit more realism and variation. And I think the grain needs to be, I think you need to work on the grain a little bit more, especially kind of the darker red one, where it doesn't feel quite like it did in the last one. I think because the little kind of knot or the ring that's occurring here just kind of is only a one instant, and everything else is just so kind of vertical, and in both cases it feels a little bit out of place. I think that the vertical lines that you're using could actually be just a slightly bit more in line with the ring, and kind of try to conform to the ring a little bit more that you have in place. But I would take a look at some other people's woods and see what they're doing that you think maybe ones that you think work successfully, and try to figure out what it is that they do that makes it work out so well. The stone texture, I'm bringing up another student's work for the stone texture here. And this doesn't necessarily strike me as kind of a stone texture right away, but the more that I kind of look at it, and the kind of the value and the different kind of mark making that's occurring, I kind of very much get a sense of a kind of a marble feeling to it. I think the main thing when I look at this is just all the different variety of things that are going on. The black, and how none of the black kind of marks are the same. There's greens and grays and blues throughout this entire kind of stone, and so it has that kind of layered effect that I think marble and stone tend to have. I think here, if you're going for more of a rougher surface, or trying to go for, I think, more of a kind of a rougher stone texture, one thing you can take from this example is the randomness, or the way that none of the marks really feel the same. And I think the problem for me for the sphere is that each of the dots are, again, the same size. I think I might have mentioned this before in the last texture. Actually, I probably didn't, because I thought you did a good job of it, where some of the spots are very big and some of them are small. They're not spaced apart in any kind of pattern-like way. I think what we're seeing here is that I can see the black dots, especially in some of these areas. They're spaced very similar to each other, and so it starts to feel very kind of pattern oriented, and there isn't as much variation as we were seeing in the last drawing that you had, so it tends to feel less realistic than I think we saw in the last one. And I think the thing you can really take away from, I think, a good stone texture is that there is a certain amount of randomness to the mark making, because that's what you're going to see in any natural substance. So think about some of these black dots, maybe they get a little bit bigger, maybe some of them are actually lines rather than dots, maybe the white and a series of grays are in place that kind of overlap and overlay each other, I think can help to make it feel more realistic. But I think aside from some of the textural stuff that could see a little bit more development, just the whole of the drawing feels great. And I love the background, I love the color usage, and I love the marker technique.